On today's show, we have stand-up comedian John Crist joining us all the way from Denver, Colorado. John has just come back from Kuwait, doing a little bit of stand-up and jokes over there for the troops, and he's actually been pursuing this comedy thing full-time within the last couple months. So we'll talk to him today about kind of his dream and his passion for what he's started. And John, thanks so much for coming to the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Shoot, man, it's good to be here, man. I'm coming live from Denver, Colorado, man.
That's awesome. What have you been up to lately?
Let's see. I've been obviously I tour all around. I probably try to get on the road probably 2 or 3 weekends out of the month. Just on the road, different comedy clubs, and then during the week, usually Sunday to Wednesday, I'm here in Denver. But I just got back from a week-long trip out to, like you said, Kuwait, doing a tour for the troops out there. Man, that was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life, man. But I doing some going out to Vegas in a couple weeks, and then I do some church shows here and there. I'm doing a youth conference out in Alaska next week. So that's yeah, that's
awesome.
I don't know what season it is up there. Is it, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's always freezing up there.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Always freezing and either dark or super light out. Dude, yeah. I was watching your bit on texting and driving, which was hilarious, by the way. I definitely have some TUIs on my record for sure. And actually, I actually have an IUI, which is Instagramming.
What's that?
Influence. And
is that a verb? Instagramming?
I may or may not have gotten into a small fender bender while Instagramming and paid quite a bit for it. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, dude, I got in a real bad wreck about in June, but I was on my GPS.
It's probably,
which is all really the same thing, like screwing around.
It's a little more valid.
Because you're like, no, I was trying to navigate to, but it's I think all comedy has some layer of like of truth involved in it. It's like, it's a funny bit about joking around about texting, but it's like, it's dead serious. Like, I don't know any kid, like, I don't know if we're kids, but like any young person that texts a lot that is like, oh yeah, everyone says like, oh dude, I'm good at it though.
Yeah, it's
but it's dangerous, man.
No, I haven't. You won't see any more pictures of driving sunsets or anything like that on my Instagram feed anymore. That's for sure. We'll
leave those sunset photos to John Acuff.
Yes, he's all about that. He is all about that. So when we were talking a couple weeks ago, you had said that in March you had quit your day job, going after comedy full time.
Yeah.
What's that experience been like for you, and how did you know that you had come to this point in your career?
I mean, I was at I stayed at my day job as long as I possibly could. Like the first time I ever did stand up was in 2009, so almost 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. First time I ever went on stage, I was like, oh, okay, this is the future. I don't know if I'm going to be at this job in 3 years or in 3 days, but eventually I'm going to leave this place. And I think you could say that for anyone that has any kind of dream job, whether it's a musician or an athlete or a writer or whatever it is that you want to do, that you don't want to continue the 9 to 5. But I stayed at that place as long as I possibly could. And I know I was wearing, actually, it's a funny story, I would come in the mornings, but I would be out like at the comedy clubs every night, almost every night, yeah. So I would come in and I would put concealer on my eyes. My girlfriend at the time gave me concealer because I would be coming in and I would just, like, I had got like an hour of sleep, and in staff meetings they'd be like, dude, where have you been, bro? So I started wearing concealer, so I was like a little more, but that can only continue for a short amount of time until you start to you sacrifice your job, your 9 to 5, and you also sacrifice your dream because they can't mutually exist. But I think the key was honestly just saving up a bunch of money. Because then, I mean, what's the worst case scenario? I worked at a 9 to 5 job that paid decent, but it was an office job. I'm like, let's say all this fails and fall apart, I could go back and get that job. Not that specific job, but a
Just
job.
a job. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and what really was like, all right, I'm leaving here is and I would challenge everyone to think about this. When I left my job, I trained the next guy that was going to come in and take my job. I trained him in probably like 4 hours to do everything that I did and have been doing for the last 5 years. Like, you do this, and then you call these clients, and then you set this up, and you change the website on Mondays, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it. But I have the opportunity to do something in stand up that no matter how much I trained somebody, they couldn't do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get there, I think then it's your career in some ways is untouchable because no one else can do it. But if you're a secretary, you can only type so many words per minute. Say $18 an hour now, they're gonna be like, well, we can just get someone for 12.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was almost more of a risk to stay there over time as opposed to shot. And obviously it's worked out great for me, man. So I've been blessed.
Awesome. Technical term. I'm gonna pause here real quick. Skype's freaking out a little bit when you like move all over the place. If you could like kind of just it causes a little bit of lag.
Okay.
So no, that's great. It's kind of that whole Seth Godin linchpin mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a Christian and you're a comedian, and I'm sure when people hear that, they're like, "Oh, this guy's so lame. He'll probably just tell communion jokes the whole time," or just maybe it's just the whole oxymoron together. So, how do you, you know, as an artist, how do you, have clean comedy, but at the same time, still good comedy, in an art form that's becoming more and more vulgar, I would say.
Well, number one, as soon as I get off with you, I'm going to go and remove all my communion jokes. I didn't know that wasn't. I think that there's a lot of the comics that are some of my best friends. We've had this conversation a million times, and we're like, people would always ask me, dude, because honestly, clean comedy is where a lot of the money is at. Mm-hmm. You can make a lot of money doing clean comedy in corporate events, and people that say we would love to have a comedy show, but we don't want any swearing. They call me because they know that I'm the guy around here that is clean for whatever reason. But I don't want to be. I don't want to. As a clean comedian, like obviously it has its benefits, but I want to be known as the funny comedian first and foremost. And that if I'm clean and if the church is all about what I do, then obviously I would love the support. And I do perform in a bunch of churches, but I think that the thing is, when I talk to my buddies, like, dude, how do you write clean material? How do you write clean material? And I said, dude, you're funny. I've heard your act. It's vulgar, but very, very funny. And I consider myself to be very funny as well. I said, as a comic, we are all just writing and making observations about what is around us. And if all you do is try to sleep with women and watch porn and do drugs and lie and cheat and steal and all that stuff, if that is what's going into your brain and into your head, that's what you're going to jokes about. And I don't. It's not that I have a bunch of dirty jokes, but I just don't tell them. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have any jokes about any of that kind of stuff because that's not what's going through my head. Mm-hmm. Really, basically, I would tell guys all the time, I'm like, man, why don't you start getting up early? Why don't you, read some books, go work out, start eating right, have conversations with people that are going to be uplifting, and you'll start writing clean, more intelligent jokes. I promise you, because that's all we do is just look around and make observations about things.
Mm-hmm. So, to segue into that, the forming of a material for a stand-up comic, how does all that work? I would love to know. Is it, do you have a script that you come up with? As far as your performance and all that, I'd love to know how some of that works.
Okay.
I mean, without giving away, too much of your tricks, but
no. I'm more than willing to have this conversation. I think there's something originally at the bottom of all of it. There's something that either is frustrating to you, or you have a hard time reconciling or dealing with, or some kind of, not anger, but some kind of unrest about some kind of issue, is at the very bottom of all that. And people all the time find me on Facebook or Twitter, or aunts and uncles and stuff, like, hey man, dude, you got to come up with a comedy sketch about how the prescription drug companies, they'll cure this one thing, but then they'll give you like 20 side effects. Like, have you ever heard that before?
Yeah.
That's probably like the most common. It's probably like the most common stand-up sketch ever, because it's at the bottom. You watch these commercials and you're like, that is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a comic, so everybody's like, you got to talk about this, because they don't have an avenue to discuss that, which I love when people like get in touch with me about something that bothers them. But let's take that, for example, that concept. I would write that down. I was like, all right, the prescription drug companies, why do they say they're going to cure one thing but give you 15 side effects? And I'm like, okay, what's funny? What is funny about that? Let's say, in what other business would that be okay? Like, what? Like, compare it to something.
Okay.
Like, if I were to
Like
say,
a
hey,
doctor or something. Yeah.
yeah, like if you brought in your car to get fixed, and they were like, hey, we fixed your radiator, but we took 3 of your tires.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know,
Okay.
it's like like, compare it to something, or maybe blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how ridiculous it really is. I think one of my best sketches that I started on was one of a roommate of mine, not the guys that we were talking about, but a roommate of mine said, dude, our other roommates who played video games all day, like grown men, they're like in their like mid-20s, all day video games, and they worked a kind of like at Starbucks. And the guy goes, dude, this is ridiculous, man. These dudes play video games all day. And we were like, yeah, that is ridiculous. So I started writing jokes, and I probably wrote 4 pages of jokes about
Video games.
They weren't even jokes, just observations about video games. And we finally tightened it up and tuned it all down, and it goes something to the extent of, I'm like, dude, why do you guys play video games all day? And he's like, dude, we're different. We like games that are rated M for mature. And I'm like, wait, you gonna make a video game and rate it M for mature? Doesn't that exclude everyone that plays video games?
Yeah.
But that joke is funny.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably gone through about 20 jokes on the topic that haven't worked.
Mm-hmm.
You think of something funny as a concept or whatever, you write it, and then you would prepare it, and then the thing about stand-up is you can't do it. You can't practice it in front of a mirror. You can't do it in front of your mate. You have to do it in front of a live audience. That's the only way to tell if it's good. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's just trying jokes on you, you might think one was hilarious, but you don't represent the mainstream.
Gotcha.
Or you might think a joke is terrible, but it's actually hilarious. So you have to do it in a big group of people, which is
terrifying.
Terrifying. You don't know if the joke is funny.
Yeah.
You're like, I hope this works. But so like Sunday to Wednesday, I'm here in town, and there's open mics all around town. I would probably hit 1 or 2 of them a night.
Mm-hmm.
I would try these jokes, and then let's say I wrote a video game sketch. There's 4. A sketch is like a series of jokes on the same topic.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the video game sketch, and then I tried it Monday, and 2 of the jokes worked, and 2 of them didn't. So I'd get rid of the other 2, or maybe rewrite them, or maybe tweak them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Switch the order around. So like, come the weekend when you're getting paid a lot of money to do, you can't have jokes
that aren't. Yeah.
So you can't try new jokes there.
Gotcha.
So people would come to see my show like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. All those jokes have been through the whole cycle.
Gotcha.
The original thought to practice to rewriting.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you would go on television, you do like Leno or Letterman or something like that. Those jokes, I guarantee you, from those guys have been told hundreds of times.
Gotcha. Cool. So like Monday through Wednesday's practice, and then the weekends game time. Basically.
The funny thing about a lot of my friends around here, are like, dude, we want to come to a show, and I'm like, well,
I do.
I technically have a show every day, every night, but if you came to my show tonight,
You won't find it funny.
you're like, this dude is terrible. This is not good. Because let's say I do 10 minutes of new material, and we find out that a minute and a half of it is good.
Mm-hmm.
Every show, and I watch it and get that minute and a half and include it back into my regular act and scrap the other, 8.5 minutes.
Gotcha.
I don't at a show like that. I'm not trying to prove that I'm the most hilarious dude in town, because it's not.
Mm-hmm. You're just testing.
Yeah, it's probably an open mic at a bar where these people didn't like get dressed and shower to come out. Like, dude, I had a show one time at a Chili's.
Oh, the prime time.
Imagine a Chili's, a comedy show like.
Is this before or after karaoke?
We were the opening act.
Oh, you're okay. Cool.
Comedy was Tuesday, karaoke is Wednesday, bro.
Okay. My bad. I got my days off.
Colorado, you. But like you could like they think open mic music you can just play in the background. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy it while eating. But like comedy, I'm like, hey, everybody, like turn around. Need the audience to have a good show. So, but that, I mean, I wouldn't. I haven't done a show at the Chili's in a long time. But
they're gonna say so
when you're first starting out.
So since you've graduated from Chili's, what's next for you in this journey, and do you have a moment in your head where it's like, yeah, I've made it per se?
Right. What's next? I would see. So every comedy show's got a host, which normally does 15 minutes, and then the feature act, which does 30 minutes, and then the headliner that would do about 45 minutes to an hour. So when I'm on the road everywhere, currently I'm the feature act. So I'm the 30-minute guy.
Okay.
And I'm not. My material's not strong enough to headline a show.
Okay.
So I can feature on the road, and you'll see the other guy's name on the marquee, and I'll just be the kind of the warm-up act.
Okay.
So right now I'm just trying to build up enough material that I can get to be a headliner, which obviously it's more money and more exposure and more stage time, because obviously that at early on in your career you just need as much experience, like the Malcolm Gladwell book, you just need as much experience as you can possibly get. So I'm doing 30 minutes, and if I was doing 45 minutes a night times 2, which is be an hour and a half every night, you could see how that you can get to the 10,000 hours pretty quick.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, so what can people do if they're interested in booking you, reaching out to you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
On any level. If I think, I would love to, if anyone has any questions about chasing a dream or managing your time or marketing yourself and your business, if anyone's been inspired by this, certainly reach out to me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All three of those, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, are / John B. Crist, JOHN BCRIST. So John B. Crist at Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and then obviously my email is on my website at johnchristcomedy.com. I tour all around the country this November, December. Really, Thanksgiving to Christmas is going to be just jam packed, man, with shows. So if you check the website, if I'm coming to your city, man, email me and I'll get you some tickets, and you come out to the show. When you can tell me after the show, you can tell me what topics I need to discuss in my act.
Well, and just in case you're wondering out there, audience, the B for John B. Crist does stand for Barack, in case you were wondering.
That is true.
So.
That is, I don't know where my ID is, but that is 100% true. Ironic in the fact that my dad is the Republican mayor of the city of Lilburn, Georgia. And ironic also that the Barack is a Bible name. Actually, it's one of the judges.
But no C.
No C in my name, yeah. No, yeah. So it's different, I guess. But who knows?
Cool, man. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Would love to catch up once Thanksgiving and Christmas dies down for you, kind of hear how all that went, and hopefully you'll be that headliner here coming up pretty soon.
Sounds good. Stay in touch, and if we can, let me know if I can ever do anything for you as well, man.
All right, man. Thank you, John.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.